Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of All the Mods 5. So, starting off as I usually do, there are a few things have been changed actually. One of them is I made this thing called an alloy furnace, which if we click quickly here, look it up, there it is. It is just bricks in a circle like that. It's pretty easy to make, and it does actually some really useful stuff. I can put iron armor in there, and it'll give me the full amount of iron back. So I was able to recycle some iron inside of that furnace and create something else that I have in my inventory called a 64K storage disk. Now, if you know what refined storage is, then you know what this does, but if you don't, then I'm going to tell you in a second. But the last thing that, of course, has changed is my house is deteriorating more. The logs have been removed, and so have the fence gates, because there's a creeper explosion here, and I also needed those logs for like a chest or something. But in here, the holes in the ceiling are still there. The holes. Yeah, guys, I need a new house. This house is really getting out of hand. There's just chests on the walls, and none of them are organized. But we are going to fix that today with a mod called Refined Storage. Here we go. Now, what refined storage is in its basic components is digitizing items using computers and power. With this mod, you make something called a disk drive and a grid and a controller, and you stick those together with a storage disk inside of the grid, and then you can power it, and whenever you click on that grid, you can store all your items in there. And it'll do stuff like automatically sorting it, and it will, and if you make this type of grid, you can actually craft out of it. But putting all that aside, we are going to begin with something called a controller. An overall pretty simple machine, but it does require a few advanced things. Now, the first thing that it requires is a machine casing, which is quartz-enriched iron, which is just nether quartz and iron surrounding it. But then if we go back, that is this quartz-enriched iron surrounded by some sort of stone or marble or granite. And then you click on that, and you get a machine casing. Now, with the machine casing, you need a silicon, which that is quartz being cooked up in any furnace, and then some more quartz-enriched iron, and then something called an advanced processor, which you can make by cooking up a raw processor, which is made like this: silicon, redstone, processor binding, which is string and slime, and then you combine that all together, and you get an advanced processor, and you combine the advanced processor with everything else, and you get a controller. So the next thing we need to craft is something called a disk drive. Now, this is a little bit more complicated, but not really that much, because the only thing extra that it requires is a chest with the machine frame and another advanced processor. So we can grab a chest from one of these chests right there, and then click on that. Wrong thing. Click on that. We of course need the machine casing, and we have ourselves a disk drive and the fancy achievement of drives. Now, the last and final thing I need and we need to make is something called a grid. Now, this grid is a little bit more complicated than the other machines because it requires a construction core and a deconstruction core. And that's going to require a basic processor with glowstone. So let's see if I have one of those anywhere. Okay, so I don't have one of those, but if I just click on the processor binding, I can go ahead and make 2 of them, which is, I'm pretty sure, all that I need. Along with that, I can make something else that I need, and that is a improved processor, which is made exactly like the diamond or advanced processor and the basic one. It's just the resources is switched out. But like that, and now we have both of those. Now with these, what we can do is we can add glowstone to that one, and then nether quartz to that one. So I'm going to go downstairs real quick, and I'm going to cook up these processors, and then I'll meet you back at the crafting table. Okay, so we are now back after cooking up my processors, and also a quick trip to the nether to get the resources that I needed for these different types of discs. But the first one here is a construction core, and the second one is a deconstruction core, built like that, and with the addition of a machine casing, which I do definitely need. Do I have any spare iron in here? Okay, I have a little bit in my inventory. So like that, and some extra quartz-enriched iron with a machine frame. And that should be everything required for a grid. Now, to upgrade our grid to become a crafting grid, we need an advanced processor and a crafting table, which we can make like that, and click U on that. And now we have ourselves a crafting grid and everything that we would ever want for a simple refined storage system. So now being outside, we can go ahead and place down the rest of our system here. It doesn't really matter which way these are placed, just as long as they all connect up to each other. We can go ahead and throw our 64K storage disk inside here, but before that, I want to show you guys the recipe for it. It's one of these 64K storage parts, which is advanced processors, redstone, stuff like that, with a 16K and improved, and yeah, and it's a lot, basically. And I did off camera because it was the most grindy part of making one of these systems, and at the same time, the least interesting. So we can go ahead and put our storage disk in there, and then take our cable and wire it over. Okay. So I have another idea. I want to make something called a solar panel. Now this should be pretty quick. Yeah, okay. So that's just wood, redstone, and then mirrors, which are not hard to craft at all, as long as we have iron. We don't have iron. Okay, so finally, with the added support of some extra solar panels to the back here, and a little bit extra coal into our system here, we now have, oh no, okay, this is definitely scary because of the fact that we don't have dedicated power, and I think it's actually worth it just to get rid of it and only use that when it is necessary. But we have dedicated power here. We can now start chucking everything that we own into this system right here, and it'll store it inside of this storage disk. Goodbye chests, goodbye a non-structurally sound house. I am moving into this. This is my home now. So now with all of our items moved out of the house and into the refined storage system, I can begin on the next goal of today's episode, and that is moving into a brand new location. Because what's going on right now with me just putting stuff kinda everywhere, really, it's really not working out. So I want to move into something bigger and definitely better. But to actually do something like moving out of an area so big like this house and having all sorts of stuff being around, I need to move into a new area. And that's why I think I want to move into the redwood forest over in that direction. Okay, so I think the first order of business here for my brand new area of living, which I have decided to be this spot and that spot over there, is to actually clear out all of the annoying shrubs and bushes that are in the area, and also the massive trees that we need to clear out, but we'll get to those in time. You know, it's kind of crazy to me that all of the resources that I've gathered in these past 5 episodes, actually, yeah, 5, this is the 6th one, can be stored in one tiny little storage disk. Now, with our little system set up here, we can go ahead and start, first of all, grabbing our shovel, and what do I really want to do here? First, I need to get rid of this dirt because it's kind of in the way. Next, I think I want to go for a pretty large, just like log cabin for now. I think that would be good, and then on top of that, we can expand it, and I was thinking maybe like a lab somewhere, but I don't really know. We'll figure it out when we get there. Okay, just a quick warning. The next few clips are going to have kind of iffy quality because I'm dumb and didn't realize my hard drive was filling up. Thank you. Yes. So as I begin to lay this down, I'm realizing how bad this house is going to look, but it is very necessary considering I do want to build, I think probably like a cabin, and then under the ground of the cabin, like labs and stuff where I can keep all of the stuff from my mods. So the house is beginning to take shape. This is horrible. This is so weird. I swear I'm gonna make the house look better in between episodes. Just right now, I really don't have the time to do that. It's just gotta look as disgusting as it does right now. I'm so sorry. You know, sometimes when people make things, they open up new doors that can't be closed. And this is definitely a door that we've opened that now cannot be closed. This is so disgusting. It hurts me. I'm gonna fix it in between episodes. I just really needed something to go ahead and just throw everything into because of the fact that I don't know, I wanted someplace for stuff to go, and this is definitely a place. We can definitely call it that. And now that we have this house and this establishment, I'm gonna go ahead and grab some other stuff from my old base and going ahead and just bringing it over to this one. Guys, I found a bee. You know, I wish collecting all of the infusion pedestals would be a little bit quicker, considering I do have an obsidian pickaxe, but I guess it is just this slow to gather all of these pedestals. We can actually leave this Perdanium farmland because of the fact that we can just harvest it up with the Silk Touch later. And I almost forgot about you. You need to come with me, yeah. And we need to give you a name because I found a name tag recently and I've just neglected to actually give you a name. I have no clue what it's gonna be, but maybe Meow. What? So now with the nether portal mined up there, we can go ahead and begin to deconstruct all of this basically. And okay, we can put it in like that, and then we're also going to need space for these 3 containers because they are of course important. We can go ahead and just get rid of the aluminum and the brick and some what can I get rid of? Raw beef. I guess that's kind of not important. And then we can eat some apples, and that's just the rest of our food. Alright. So now we can get rid of the item collector, which will go down through the pipe, and cat, no. Cat, come on. You don't want to do this. Okay, we have some extra skeleton seeds, and then our item collector. We can also go ahead and get rid of these growth crystals, which I'm going to snatch up and take back home. What can I replace that for? Probably lead. Okay, I guess I can replace it for lead. And then everything else I will be back for, because it is currently either not important or doesn't fit in my inventory. Anyway, guys, that is going to be the end of today's episode of All the Mods 5. We did a lot in this episode. We moved entire bases, which is a pretty big feat, to say the least. And we also made a refined storage system, which is back at our other base. And this is the last time you're going to see this house and this village. Well, not the last time, but like the last time for a while, because we are going to the new area over there. Anyway, guys, if you like video, then like video. If you dislike video, dislike video. Subscribe, please. Very nice. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.